Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kat's Kitchen and I'm Kathleen, and today we're going to try out some new recipes. I plan on making 3 types of lard cookies. I've never made lard cookies before, so this ought to be fun. We're going to start off by doing lard chocolate chip cookies. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. It's Bulgarian Maslenki. I'll put the name of the cookies down here. And then we're going to do basic lard sugar cookies. The reason I'm going to try to do lard instead of using butter is lard is half the price of butter here in North Carolina. I think lard runs about 13 cents an ounce, while butter runs about 28 cents an ounce. So butter is a little bit more than half expensive. And I am getting very low on butter. I think I only have about 4 sticks of butter in my fridge. So I want to try to preserve that since I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to go to the store again. And I need to use up the rest of this lard. Hopefully we have enough to finish our recipes. If not, then maybe I won't do all 3. We'll see. I'm pretty sure I'll have enough in here. So let's go ahead and get started on the chocolate chips. Let me get my measuring spoons. I'm very interested to see how these turn out and compare them to the consistency of butter cookies. So I need to cream together lard, sugar, and brown sugar until the mixture is light and fluffy. So I need 1 cup of lard. I've had this lard sitting on the counter for about an hour or so hopefully it's softened up some. It does not take lard anywhere near as much time as butter to soften up. So I'm not sure if I'm predicting this or not, but with the increase of eggs going up, I'm assuming that sooner or later milk will start going up as well. Not sure if that's 100% true, but that's my gut. So I'm trying to get used to using other ingredients besides using just the butter and the milk products. So I think none of these recipes use any milk products because I'm low on milk, so I had to try to find some without milk. They do use a decent amount of eggs, 1 to 2 eggs, which is semi-normal. So that was 1 cup of lard. I need 1 cup of sugar. And then 1 cup of brown sugar. I'm getting low on homemade brown sugar, so I need to make some of that sometime. Hopefully we have enough to do this recipe, or these recipes. Alright, and I need to mix this mixture until light and fluffy. I guess this is about as light and fluffy as it's going to get. This lard, I think it's considered leaf lard. It's not very porkish, as it doesn't have a very strong odor. I could tell that this is pork lard, judging by the smell, because I can smell some of it, but it's not nowhere near as strong as other types of lard you can use. But I also worked a lot around hog, so I can smell hog a mile away. Okay, so let's see what's next. So I need to add the eggs and vanilla and then mix again. So I need 2 eggs and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So usually when I make cookies, I try to double or triple them. And then I try to put some in the freezer so I can have some on hand at a later date. Then I can just pull them out, defrost them, and they're good to go. But since this is a new recipe and I'm not sure if we're going to like it, I don't want to double or triple this recipe until I know for sure that they are going to be good. Alright, so that was 2 teaspoons of vanilla, so I need 2 large eggs. So our chickens are starting to lay again. I'm really excited for. I haven't got any eggs off them yet. The dogs have found them since they've been free ranging. So I need to go ahead and put them back up in their cage so I can start collecting eggs again. Since I am very tired of buying store-bought eggs. Especially with how the prices have been lately. I'm not sure what you guys are paying for eggs where you're at, but here in North Carolina, I think our eggs are, I usually buy the 60 case eggs since we go through them so much, and they are running about $19 for that case. I think they're running about 8 or 9 per dozen, which is ridiculous because they used to be, I think, $1.50 pre-COVID. I'm just going to let this get light and fluffy again. This is a very runny dough so far, but we still have to add our flour, so hopefully it thickens up with that. Alright, I need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And it's nice to finally have a recipe that doesn't use baking powder. I feel like I'm going through my baking powder like crazy lately. Half a teaspoon. So I need 1 teaspoon. So I'll do 2 of these. One teaspoon of salt. I think I'm more excited to use the Bulgarian cookies since they use jam as a filler or filling. So I need 1 teaspoon of salt, so 2 half teaspoons. And then 3 cups of flour. Oh, here's my flour. There's 1. I usually buy the big bag of flour at Walmart, and lately, I think about a year, they stopped selling the big bag. And I'm going through so much flour lately because of that. Because I can only buy the smaller ones. 2. I'm not sure if that's a thing they're just getting rid of, or is it just my Walmart. There is an Amish store nearby. I need to go look at them and see if I can buy things in bulk there. Alright, so it's 3 cups of flour. Turn this back on. So this recipe requires that this dough be chilled for an hour or up to a few days. I believe that's the wording in it. But up to a couple of days. So this would be great to make ahead of time. You can get the dough going, stick in your fridge. The next day, have fresh cookies. Where's my handle at? So I'm just going to move it into this bowl and stick it, put saran wrap on it, and stick it in the fridge. I do have to fold in the chocolate chips, but I'm going to wait to do that once it's in this bowl so I can make this, so I can keep this bowl neutral since most of these recipes have the same ingredients and I don't have to wash it. So anytime I make recipes like this that requires lard or just something different, it just reminds me of Great Depression cooking. And I'm a big fan of anything during that era. And it's good to always have versatile recipes on hand. So when something does happen, like you had planned to make cookies for like a special event and you're out of butter, then you have a backup. Versus having to run to the store, or when if there's another shortage, like during COVID, then you don't panic. You're like, I have this at home, I'm fine. good to try these different recipes. Alright. So this calls for 12 ounces of chocolate chips. I think I'm going to get my scale out to make it more accurate. I think chocolate chips come in 12-ounce bags, but not 100% sure. Make sure it's even. Switch this to ounces. Clear it. These are some chocolate chips I have up in my cabinet for a few months. Let me taste one to make sure they're alright. They taste fine. You want chocolate chip? Uh-oh. Did you drop chocolate chip? These taste like dark chocolate chips. Is that good? Alright, there's 12. Baby. I don't think Daddy wants your hands all in his cookies. Yeah. This is just us, my family, so that's because she put her hand in this, it's not going to bother us. We're the only ones eating this. If we're going someplace else, like an event, then I would just redo all these. Or put these in the freezer, and these will be our cookies, and make another batch. Alright. So I'm going to put these in the fridge after I put some saran wrap on them. Which I think I'm just going to use foil because that's what's up front. Watch out, baby. That's sharp. Yeah, sharp. You cannot play with the foil. I'm sorry. Alright, I'm going to put these in the fridge for about an hour and go from there. Here. More. Alright, these chocolate chips are going up. You can't have that many. You've already had your snack. Alright. So one batch done, or one dough done. Now the Bulgarian cookies, I think, have to be rolled out. They both have to be rolled out. So we're going to start on the Bulgarian since I'm most interested to see how these turn out. Let's see. Beat the eggs and then add sugar. Beat until light and foamy. It says melt the lard, and when slightly cooled, so as not to cook the eggs, slowly add the lard to the egg and sugar mixture. So I think I'm going to put this in a bowl. Because this uses 3/4 of a cup of lard. How much do we need for our next recipe? 3/4 of a cup. Let's go ahead and pushing it. Alright, and I'm just going to double check that I have that much in here. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, we should be fine. I should have just enough. Get some more in here. Alright. So that used up all of our lard, which is what I wanted to. I wanted to get it out of the fridge to get some more. So I need 3 eggs, and I need my whisks for this. I think I'm going to whisk this out, just in case there's a reaction with the sugar and the eggs, where it doesn't get as light and fluffy because of everything else in here. That's one of the downfalls of baking, is it is chemistry. So you never know what's going to set something else off. And I'm not that experienced of a baker to really tell you. I just follow the recipe and go from there. I'm going to put this in the microwave and melt it, but hopefully not enough to get it hot. About 30 seconds. And I'm going to get out my 3 eggs. So here's 1 egg. 2 eggs. 3 eggs. You helping? We'll do that back in a second. Alright, let me clean up my egg mess. So this was in the microwave for a total of 45 seconds. Tell me that. There are still some little clumps in here, but it shouldn't be enough to really mess up anything. And they should melt, hopefully, with the rest of the oil. Alright, and it's nice and clear now. So it's good to go. So let's see, I need to beat the eggs well and then add sugar. Let me get my whisk for this. Alright, so I'm going to add 3/4 cups of sugar and then beat this again until it's nice and light and fluffy, or foamy. You having fun? Don't hit this hot, no, don't play with the hot lard. You cannot play with the hot lard, I'm sorry. The recipe says to beat this for 5 minutes, or about 5 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer and turn this back on. So my 5 minutes are up, and this is pretty bubbly and frothy, so I'm going to call this good. And I'm going to slowly add the lard into this mixture while the blender is on low. And hopefully I won't make a mess. This should have cooled down enough. One more. You do not want to have this too hot and it cooks your egg and you get scrambled eggs. This is pretty much just tempering your eggs. Let me just double check to make sure I did not cook my eggs. Nope, everything looks smooth and bubbly. And I'm going to add my flour now. Let's see, I need 4 cups of flour. The recipe says to mix your dry ingredients and then add it. I'm just going to add it. I'm not going to dirty another bowl. I don't think I have 4 cups of flour in here. So I'm just going to add a cup of flour, turn it on, and then add another cup of flour. Until I've used up all my flour, so another cup. Last cup of flour. I'm going to switch out my hook. Because this one is clumping up bad, as you can see. Right. Set this one back in. And I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder while this is turned off. So I have half a teaspoon here, so I'm going to add 2 of these. There's 1. There's 2. And I need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. The recipe did not tell me when to add the vanilla, so I'm just going to go ahead and add it now. So 2 teaspoons. I think I got this for vanilla. So 2 of these. I'm going to turn this back on. If I can. There we go. That's better. Switching paddles was good. So I'm going to put this in some saran wrap, put this in the fridge, and then do our next dough, and then roll both of them out at the same time. Since I already have everything out to make the dough. this off. This dough reminds me almost like a sugar cookie dough. Judging by the ingredients, it's basically a sugar cookie dough. So I'm just going to put this in the saran wrap. It's a very thick dough. Ugh, come on. All right. So second lard dough is ready to go, to be rolled out. I'm gonna put this in the fridge and we're gonna start on number 3. Alright, so basic lard sugar cookies. So the same thing, beat lard, sugar, and egg together. I'm not going to worry about rinsing this out since it's basically the same recipe. And this one seems more forgiving than the other one does. Maybe because it has less steps to it. Alright. This stuff starts soaking in the sink. Alright, so I need to go get some more flour. So let me go do that. I need to find a better way to buy bulk flour. I usually buy bulk from Azure Standard, but their flour is so expensive compared to like Walmart. And yes, it's higher quality, so I wouldn't mind getting it, but our budget is so tight right now that it's just not an option for us right now. I need to drive up. That Amish store is, I think, about an hour from us, so I need to go see what they have. I emailed them about a year ago about prices, and they're pretty close to Walmart's, but a lot has changed in a year, so it's hard to tell exactly what it is now. Alright, so we have, I need 3/4 brown sugar. And this says it has to be packed. It just means snug, so you don't have a lot of airspace, so you get a more accurate measurement. Let's see. Beat large sugar and egg together. And then I need 1 egg. daughter has stole my hand towel. Alright, so beat lard, sugar, and egg together. So 3/4 cups of lard, 3/4 cups of brown sugar packed, and 1 large egg. So we should be good. Alright, that's combined nicely. So I need to do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I think let's say if I like one of these cookies better than the other, the texture of it or the taste, I can pretty much use that one recipe with all the ways I'm doing it here. Because they're basically all basic sugar cookies. There's nothing extra to these. Like the first one just has chocolate chips, the second one's just going to have jam, and this one's just going to have granulated sugar put on top. This is baking powder, right? Double check, yeah. I need 1 teaspoon. And then 2 cups of flour. So I think I'm going to add a cup and then turn it on. And I'll add another cup. Now this recipe does not include salt, which is unusual. I think most recipes I've ever made had salt in it. This is starting to ball up on the paddle and the side, so I'm just going to stir them real well. What you doing, Evelyn? So this batch of sugar cookies does not involve rolling it out. It just says make 1-inch balls. 1-inch diameter size balls. So I'm just going to take these with a spoon and plop them on a baking sheet. So the only cookie we actually have to roll out are the jelly or jam Bulgarian cookies. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. So I already have a pan with parchment paper on it that I'm going to use. It's not working out the way I want it to. This is a very soft dough. And they said that leave plenty of room between the cookies. They will spread out considerably when baking. So I only have 1 baking sheet, so I'm just going to put this in the oven, wait till it gets done, and we'll do another round of these. They need to bake for just says until edges are nicely brown. This is a very relaxed recipe. It might be a little bit older since a lot of the older recipes don't have a lot of basic cooking information. They just assumed you knew, since most people spend a lot of time in the kitchen. So it just says bake in preheated oven, 350 degrees until edges are nicely brown. Remove and let cool. This makes about 8-10 cookies. So I'm going to flatten these down a little bit. I'm not sure how well they're going to spread out and what shape they're going to hold, so I'm not going to do too much with them until I know for sure what they're going to look like. This is our experiment round. So I'm going to put these in here probably about 12 minutes, since that seems about average for cookies, and go from there. So the Bulgarian cookies calls for ring cutters, circle cutters. I've never used these before, so I'm so excited to finally get a chance to use these. If you don't have these, you can use anything you have around the house. I think in the recipe, she said she used a baby bottle. Yeah, she used the ring from a baby bottle. And then she used like a marker for the inner circles. So I've used canning rings before. They're about this size. So I've used these. I use the top of glass cups. I've used those. Or just I flipped over a glass cup and used those. So whatever you can find around the house. You don't have to have fancy cooking things. I'm going to use raspberry jam in this. She recommends red raspberry or apricot, plum or rose jam, something tart-like. And I happen to have some raspberry in the fridge and maybe about 6 more pints in the back. So I'm going to use some of that because that's what I have on hand and that's what's recommended. But you can use almost any other type of jam that you have laying around. Let's see. I'm not sure what size I want to use for these cookies. This is the smallest ring I have. So I'm not sure if I want to go super small or super big. That's too big. Okay, so I think, does these have measurements on it? No, they do not. That'd be nice if they did. Ah, they have it here. So I think I'm going to use the 2.6 inches and the 1. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2.3. Because I don't want my cookies too large. I just want them bite-sized. I'm going to put this away before my daughter finds it. It is really hard to tell when these cookies are done because we use brown sugar instead of white sugar. I'm sure there's a reason for that. Most sugar cookie recipes use white sugar, so it keeps the cookie nice and white. But since we use brown sugar, it made these cookies like a darkish brown color or light brown color. So it's really hard to tell when they're lightly browned. I think this is the first recipe, sugar cookie recipe I've seen that used just this much brown sugar. So I'm interested to see how this one turns out. Alright, these look a whole lot better. I'm not sure if you can see some of the brown edges. And they're soft, but not, well, that one's super soft. But they'll harden up once they cool. I'm just going to kind of beat these on the counter to get them a little bit more smoother. We're going to move these over to a and we're going to move these over to a cooling rack. Hopefully they're done all the way. They do smell nice. Watch out top, baby. Mommy needs that. Ah! You burn your hand? Or did Mommy stop you in time? Are you okay? That's hot. Hot. You okay? Can Mommy see your hand? Is your hand okay? Oh no, you gotta stop grabbing things on the counter. Put this away for right now. Alright, now I got some sugar here. I'm just going to sprinkle over the edges, or over the top. And you want to do this when the cookie's still warm, so it helps melt some of the sugar. Alright, and then we're going to work on our next batch. I guess that came out a decent size, so I think I'm going to stick with that size. Just try to round them out smoother. And as you can tell, they're a whole lot darker than traditional sugar cookies that we use nowadays. So I'm going to put these in the oven for 12 minutes. When these come out, I think I'm going to start on the chocolate chip cookies, get them in the oven, and while the chocolate chips cookies are baking, I'm going to roll out the Bulgarian cookies. So we can working twice as much to get the cookies done. I'm going to put these in the oven. So I did not tell my husband that these were lard cookies. I'm debating if I should tell him that or not. I would like to see his reaction without him knowing that they're lard cookies to see if he could tell a difference. And I'm afraid if I tell him ahead of time, then he's going to be anticipating that when he bites into it. He won't have a problem eating lard cookies since he likes lard with everything else. And I made lard blueberry muffins before, and he loved those. So that's not a problem I'm worried about. I just want an honest opinion from him, and I don't want to be stewed one way or another. If he's thinking about lard, he's going to taste lard. But I'll think about that. I'll probably end up telling him. What's wrong, baby? Did you finish all your crackies? So these came out a whole lot smoother and prettier. So I will make a note on the recipe to smooth them out before putting them in the oven. And look at the little baby cookie. That'll be our sampler. Since I do not need a full cookie, nor do I want one. And we need to sprinkle this with sugar while it's still hot. Oop, that was a lot of sugar, but it's okay. And I need to bump up the oven to 375. Okay, now we need to roll out our chocolate chip cookie dough. This is a lot of chocolate chips. Here. And I'm just going to take little spoonfuls. Or big spoonfuls. And plop them down on the pan. Alright, I'm going to put this in the oven. Let me get this chocolate off my hand first. Hopefully she won't grab nothing. I'll grab nothing. Yeah, some of these are on the larger side, so hopefully they work out alright. If not, then I'll make them smaller with the next batch. And I'm going to put these in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to do 11 minutes and then go from there. And we're going to start rolling out our Bulgarian cookies. What's wrong? Put some flour on the counter. And I'm going to split this dough. I think it said in 3s. This is a very soft dough, so it shouldn't take too long to roll it out. And we need a 1/4 inch thickness. It does roll out beautifully. No resistance, no anything like that. So I'm just going to make some rolls, and I think the next time I roll out dough, I'll try to match that up with the little one to make centers, hole centers, make holes in my centers. So this is a very soft dough. Baby. Do you want some dough to play with? Here. Okay, have some of your own. This has raw egg in it. So we all ate raw eggs, so I'm sure you'll be fine. I might have made these too thin. We'll see if I need to make them thicker. But I know we're putting 2 cookies on top of each other, so you don't want them too thick. You want them both about the same width as a normal cookie combined. Mommy needs that, baby. You can't play with things Mommy's using. Thank you. And then I'm going to use this little ring to try to find a perfect center.
Go.
No. You can't have that. It's cooling. I know. Mommy's doing all these fun things and you want to touch and play. Put some over here. This is a very soft dough. Alright, the chocolate chip cookies are done. I'm going to pull them out of the oven. Have a look at them. Where are you at? These came out beautiful. They remind me of the cookie shop cookies. The color and the shape and the size. They are on the soft side.
No. Whoa.
Oh, I'm supposed to leave them up on the rack for a few minutes, aren't I? Yeah, leave cool on cookie sheet. Let's put this back up here. I'm going to put this back on the oven since I don't have special counters. I'm going to leave that on the stove for 3 to 4 minutes to help firm up the cookies. They were on the soft side. These chocolate chip cookies have cooled on this rack for 4 minutes, and they're definitely easier to scoop off now. And I'm just going to gently place these on here. The recipe says you can get them kind of snug together. They don't grow much. Alright, I'm going to put these in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes. What's wrong? You want Mommy to lay on the dirty kitchen floor?
Oh.
So the Bulgarian cookies are done. They're very pretty white.
Yeah.
Compared to the other cookies. This is probably gonna get chocolate all over them, but it's okay. These remind me of more of a traditional sugar cookies. Okay, we'll have one a little bit, Evelyn. Let me get these on the pan. Watch your fingies. No, you want them cookies. Okay, we'll try a chocolate chip cookie. You want to try a chocolate chip cookie? Here, Mom's going to give you half. Yeah, she's going to give you half. Yes. You be Mommy's tester? Okay, so these are the chocolate chip cookies. They smell great. These are probably the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever made. They have a nice crispy bottom. And they're nice and chewy in the center. This is probably the closest recipe I found to tasting like the store-bought, the storefront cookies. So good. Child, you made a mess. You got chocolate hands. You can taste a hint of the lard in some of the bites, but you really have to be looking for it. A normal person eating this would not know this was lard. That is so good. That is the best chocolate chip cookie, hands down. And I need to clean you up because you're filthy. Now we're going to try the sugar cookies. Here, Evelyn, do you want some? Ooh, these are crumbly. Here. You're making a mess. These are good. They remind me of the sugar cookies my mom used to make. Like the texture, the taste. They're amazing. This is a whole lot better recipe than the sugar cookies I used for Christmas. So I would definitely use these again. Baby, you can't have a bunch of cookies. I know you want a bunch of cookies, but you cannot have a bunch of cookies. You just can't. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My daughter's trying to reach for more cookies. We'll have some of these. You got these cool. Let Mommy decorate them. I think the almond flour would have made these really good as well. Next time I will try to get some almond extract and try to make those instead of using vanilla. But they were amazing. I didn't taste any lard in these cookies. All I tasted with it was sugar and fat. It was amazing. Okay, I think these are chilled enough that I could try one with jam. Mommy's going to get one for you. Okay, let's eat an ugly one. Yeah, we're going to eat an ugly one. So these, you just take some raspberry jam. And you just coat the top of them. Yeah. And you put this on top and it makes a nice little window. Last cookie. That bite of jam. This is so good. That's amazing with that jam. That jam kind of gives you like an explosion of flavor right in your mouth. I don't think I can go back to butter after this. I think these lard cookies are better than butter cookies. And they're cheaper, so it's win-win. So let's go ahead and finish decorating these cookies. I'm missing some of my tops, so hopefully they'll be done shortly. So I hope anyone watching this who's afraid of using lard, because it's one of those ingredients we stopped using as a society. At least here in the United States, we don't use a lot of lard anymore. We switched almost everything to butter and seed oils. And I'm trying to get back to cooking and eating the way we used to. Since it seems like back then we had less health problems, at least that we could detect. And everybody just seemed healthier overall. So if you are afraid of using lard into any of your baked goods, I highly recommend you try these recipes and just try them. If you don't like them, you don't like them. But you would not regret using the lard in these recipes. They're amazing. I'll let you lick the spoon, Evelyn. You want to lick the spoon? You're going to be wired after this. You're filthy. You have chocolate all over you. Yeah, is that good? Do you like Mama's jam? And I'm going to put the rest of this dough in the fridge. If my daughter wasn't in here being ill, then I would finish cooking all these up. But she's done today. I have to respect that. She only has so much patience. And she's only 2 years old, so I have to respect that. So I'll put these in the fridge. I'm sure my husband will eat through these really quickly. So I'll probably make a whole bunch more, maybe tomorrow. And put these in the fridge. We can go watch a movie. And here is our amazing lard cookies we made. So we have the chocolate chip. We have plain sugar cookies. And these are Bulgarian Maslenki. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I am not, I'm sorry. But these traditional cookies are probably my favorite. This and the chocolate chips. Even though these recipes are all very similar, they each have their own different unique taste, which I'm surprised about. So I would definitely make all these three separate. I won't interchange any recipes because they're perfect just the way they are. So if you have never made lard cookies, I highly recommend you try these. They were amazing. But thank you so much for joining me here in the kitchen. I'm going to call it quits, even though I have so much more to bake. And I'm going to go spend time with my daughter since she wants cuddles and to watch a movie. And I'm never going to pass that up. So thank you so much for joining me here in the kitchen. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.